Sure. Thank you. Rejecting.
Salutations, my little valentines. I hope Cupid was nice to you. Candy and hearts, loved ones saying hi. The star tetrahedron, true magic, where love originally emanated from, that created this lovely universe that we are dancing within. Of course, the star tetrahedron is quintessential love because it's the mystical marriage of masculine divine power, which is the focusing of light and attention, and then the feminine of divine heart, of imagination and creativity. and united in sacred love, it opens the doorway within the very middle of the star tetrahedron, which is in the heart chakra. Once again, love. And from out of it, Source, the originator and the creator of the universe, comes forth to express the love of the divine in all that we see and all that we experience in reality. It truly is a love fest. And as we experience and feel that more and more within, we automatically translate that into that's what's going on in the world. We can observe that there are things that are looking out of balance and off center or chaotic. Once again, that's our perception. There's a wonderful teacher, many of you have probably heard of, Matisse DeStefano, and he was talking about creation, the universe, consciousness, some of the things that we talk about. And he was explaining that, of course, the universe is simply mind in emanation. And as mind arose forth from out of the void as consciousness, the first emanation was sound, which was then simply vibrations, like waves upon the ocean. And some waves are short, and some waves are long, and some waves are very, very long. And as these waves began to move and to dance across time, space, overlapping and creating more wave functions, mind expanded and more possibilities were then within the manifestation of these waves. Then, as certain waves came together, it created geometries, one of them being the star tetrahedron, another one being the triangle. And as these came together, there was then the opportunity for Source to develop a way to make these seem and feel real, because there were simply waveforms of mind dancing. And so we are the byproduct of that magnificent bringing forth of the ability to sense and to feel what is mind in its emanation. And Matisse was saying that, in fact, because it's just wave functions, that you have really never tasted, touched, nor felt anything. It's simply the perceptions of each one of us within our individual mind brain that are looking at these wave functions and then interpreting them in certain ways within our brain that coalesce with our particular belief system. And so if we believe that things are difficult and tragic, we will then draw forth validation from the field of mind, the wave forms that are dancing out there. And then we will observe this one's chaotic, this one's destructive, this one's dislikable. And we will validate our perceptions. At the same time, as we begin to move into a place of really learning how to love ourselves and to find the parts of ourselves that once believed from programs from mother, father, culture, society, that something was wrong with us, the great lie. And then we begin to go back inside and move through all of those lies and those emotions and those feelings of distrust and self judgment, which is symbolic darkness. But as we keep weaving through it and going deeper, we then find, well, what was feeling that dislike, that judgment? And it was but a part of ourself, the soul, that placed itself in time space in order to gain experience, to learn about how these waves move and interpret them to bring more joy and harmony and peace to not only the creator, but to each one of us. And so as we move back in, we realize that when we learn to love, that that which is imbalance or emotion is no longer part of our life form. It's no longer something we experience. And so we begin to trust that the divine will bring us things that are graceful and glorious and prosperous, because we have learned to trust ourselves. We have learned to love that which is the deepest childlike magic within. And because the child now has trust relationship with its creator, which is us, we are the soul that created it, and love is established within, that trust automatically then begins to be a function of that's my belief system. I trust that things are going to flow lovingly and graciously and harmoniously to me. I'm not worried about tomorrow. I'm not worried about, maybe riding in an airplane or taking a car ride. I trust the universe, not because I trust the universe, first of all, it's because I learned to trust myself first and realize that I am also the divine, and now I am simply in relationship with the universe. This aspect of love, when Source first came forth as emanation of consciousness, one of the very first waveforms that it created that coalesced was the triangulation. And that triangulation is what we call the energy of fire. Well, fire is simply a hydrogen atom. And when all the hydrogen atoms that emanated from out of the Big Bang came together, they created sunlight, stars. And we know that those stars, hydrogen, simply began to fall deeply in love with himself, and a nuclear reaction of splendor and light occurred. And when the splendor and light show was over, the stars collapsed upon themselves. Another love fest of gravity coming together. Hydrogen was squeezed together and it created all the elements within creation. And when the star exploded, stardust, as iron, as calcium, as oxygen, as magnesium, simply spread throughout the cosmos. And then another group of star beings that began to form. They gathered that stardust into planetary form. And so we are stardust. We are hydrogen, which is fire, coalesced into the elements that then created the physical form. And then we, as spirits, beings, souls that are part of this whole creational epoch, we then became at one with our physical form and life was emitted. And through that, we then have a mind brain that can interpret the waveforms that are going on. And we then see, well, this is what I'm seeing here. This is my belief here. I'm tasting, touching, feeling this. But in fact, it's just an interpretation that you're having within your mind. Nothing wrong with that. It's very beautiful and exciting because then we can choose what it is we want to see, feel, interpret, experience by simply learning to love ourselves. And when we realize that if I go through the emotion of worthlessness and I find this lovable child and love it, I am worthy. And then I find only worthiness meets me in the world. And as I go through the emotion of anger and frustration, and I realized I was angry because I wasn't loved, and I loved myself. I'm no longer angry at events or frustrated by things in the world. I realized that simply Source awakening through those forms in order to learn more about itself. Now, the other beautiful thing about hydrogen is fire. Hydrogen is fire, and so it ignites. It's one of the most volatile elements there are. But if you take two hydrogen atoms and put it with one oxygen atom, and oxygen is simply breath, breath of life, we have H2O, two hydrogens, one oxygen. What does it create? Water. And what does water do? It flows effortlessly and easily through all creation. It moves around stones in the stream. It flows over waterfalls. It becomes the rain that we simply use to then sustain our life. It goes back to the ocean and it evaporates. It becomes snow in the mountains that we play upon and enjoy ourselves. And so hydrogen with oxygen creates the love and the feeling of water that flows with gentle ease. And it then becomes 85% of your body, water. Fire coming together with breath, oxygen, creating water, which is another description for love. It flows effortlessly and easily. It's non-resistance with all creation. You can put anything you want in water, and you'll never hurt it, you'll never destroy it. It simply evaporates, comes back as the purity of rain. It's pure. And that's what love is. It is pure. It flows with effortless ease. And when we have that feeling of love and it's being dynamically established and felt within, we look out into the world and we have choices. What would be the preferences of the things that would be the dance of joy? Not that I need prosperity or need a relationship. Once again, that's the fire of passion. I've got to have it to marry with me to feel good enough. But when love is firmly established, and I love prosperity and I love joy and I love relationships because I'm in a relationship with myself, because I have love simply flowing from me, I have preferences of prosperity. I don't need it. It's a preference of my joy, my love. I have preference for loving relationship. I don't need it, but it would be the joy of simply dancing with a partner. Whatever I choose to have preference with, if I love it, not because I need it, but because I simply love, our love will automatically begin to draw that to us. That's what love is. Love is one of the most attractive forces in the whole universe. It took hydrogen that was dispersed all across the cosmos, brought it into coalition. Stars ignited into living sunlight. We live on sunlight. It feeds the physical form. We are the spirit that then activates that form. But it's really that which is love and fire and passion and desire all coming together of I am the one. I love, and because I love, I simply attract to me. I attract prosperity, it flows. I attract joy. I attract health. I attract harmony. I attract peace. When we move to that place of needing and wanting, I've got to have it, then we're really pushing at it. And we're pushing at it because we don't really believe we deserve it. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's simply then looking at it and asking, okay, why do I think I need that to make me happy or to fulfill me? If we then come back in and realize if I love myself and I find what didn't really feel fulfilled and honored and accepted and lived with joy as a child and bring it back into life, I'm in that attractive place of love. And then things flow effortlessly and easily to me. So this is really the essence of Valentine's Day, that love is really then the breath of creation. It's the breath of the universe. And it's now moving quite rapidly around the planet. But as it is rapidly moving, it's also then stirring up that which does not love itself. And we can observe it, and if we're judging it or criticizing or disliking it, we still have some homework. Not to judge or criticize ourselves about that, but realize, oh, that got me. I didn't like that. Now, what is it within me that has dislike in that same emotion? And as we then go inside once again and move deep within and find the child that felt that origination of programming, simply slip through the emotion without judgment, and then bring the divine and sacred self we are that created the child, and we return back within, we then can stand in equanimity. As Buddha said, be equal with all things, equanimity. I simply observe, send compassion and honor. It's simply source awakening itself from out of the ignorance of separation back into the love and the oneness of being with source. So it's a very beautiful dance. And we get to observe how we are doing with the dance by simply feeling the emotion that comes up throughout the day. What bothers me? What am I disliking? What am I judging? Am I not simply observing the moving and realize it's simply my mind that is bringing waveforms of creation and coalescing them into things and people that I believe are there, but in fact, it's simply my mind brain interpreting my reality? And now I changed my belief system to love and to peace and harmony, and realize the divine mind I am is the same mind as the Creator. And as I love that which I am, I'm loving the Creator in equalness. And then I stand in equanimity with all life, and love flows from me, and things once again are attracted effortlessly to me. Simple in one way, of course, but it takes focus, gentle focus, and that's the masculine, simply focusing, bringing love in as we then focus and feel, and then going through and uniting together, I am love. So one of the things that, of course, assists us quite beautifully in this emanation of the breath of oxygen, which then marries with hydrogen, is the open doorway within the heart. And we exercise that doorway through our breathing. In our breathing, we're not only breathing in oxygen, which can then marry with hydrogen, we're literally breathing in Source, Creator, the oneness that began the whole show of love and creation. And then we can truly say, I am. This is where the I am originated from. I am love in expression. And now I am love in action. So let's do about 5 minutes of deep breath work. We like to have the spine nice and straight. The star tetrahedron has, down through the very center of it, a tube of light, which is the spinal column. And it is around the spinal column that the star tetrahedron turns. We can feel a gentle string, maybe at the top of the head, pulling us up. But we also feel from the base of the spine our deep, loving connection with Mother Earth. A tree receives its sustenance of its physical form from the deep groundedness with Mother. The branches above are open to receive the living light from the sun. And then we are the spiritual source from the open doorway within the heart that activates light and matter, positive, negative, creating experience, God experiencing self. And with each deep inhalation from the open doorway within the heart, Source is arising forth. I am the light. When we truly observe our breathing, one cannot be thinking. And deep belly breathing, calling in Source from the open doorway. The feeling of love from out of my open door within the heart. I love the feeling of Source arising forth. I'm not trying, I'm loving. My love is attracting Source, breath, light. And with each breath, the exhale is feeding the body golden sunlight and peace. I breathe in source. I exhale living light. And it is the love that nurtures my body. Love makes the body whole. Love is the breath of the universe. It holds the planets in form around the sun. It gathers oxygen to create stars. And we are stardust breathing source. What an amazing gift. I am starlight breathing source. And with my intention, I turn it into golden sunlight and peace. And I bring healing and light to Mother Earth. She is my body. And I am the light. And a couple of more deep belly breathing, love attracting from the open doorway within the heart, source, the pure breath of creation. I am the light. And as it feels comfortable, to slowly allow yourself to come back into the moment of the now. I was explaining a couple of weeks ago, more than that because we haven't had a session for a while. I was dancing with alligators and I won. I loved them, and I loved them so much they became princesses. I was explaining about the star tetrahedron that when I was first working with it, I was kind of focused upon the spinning of the tetrahedron. But then I began to realize I could simply almost feel my consciousness resting within the upper triangulation of divine mind around the star, and I was simply loving it as it moved. It was my love that was attracting the spin, and from down below, the lower was then attracting it in the opposite way. And so it wasn't a trying anymore. It was really falling in love with the movement and the love being ever more attractive of this spinning dynamics that was taking place. And so another level of trying moved into simply being, loving and being. And so I'd like to invite you to continue to play with the star tetrahedron at that level, When you find yourself trying, which is a masculine, I've got to, move more to the feeling of I can then simply attract it, I can love it, to feel it flowing and moving. And I'm around it on the outside as the divine mind I am. And I'm now watching the movement of this very beautiful feeling of living light from within. So I'll take you through the formation of the star tetrahedron, and then all of us can then join together into creating a magic light activation for all of us. And this is what happens when we come together in these evening programs. Our light literally begins to reach out across the ethers, and then we're magnifying each other's feelings, perceptions, and awareness. So let's close the eyes and feel the body relaxing. With the breath work, the body feels peaceful and quiet. I bring my attention between the eyebrows, and as I draw a line straight back to the approximate center point of the head, I ignite the light of the soul simply by imagining and loving the light. I love to feel the light of the soul ignited within the mind, brain. Like the sun, I can feel the light and the warmth of the soul. Sacred I am. And I gently allow the light to flow to the heart chakra at the sternum, the place of love. There I image in what already exists, the star tetrahedron, simply had been covered over with ignorance of creation. But now my focus and my love reveals within the heart, and all around me this golden glistening form, and my love begins to see and feel it moving, flowing around me so effortlessly. And as the star tetrahedron spins and flows with effortless ease, I feel within the heart chakra a doorway opening so effortlessly. And arising forth, my love is calling Source, Creator being I am, into this dimension. It becomes living sunlight and peace that flows through my body. It flows out into the world, and I bring light to Earth. I love the planet. I love to be the living light. Light and love I am. I will join with you, and together we will ignite the living light within, around, a gift to all creation. And welcome home. Thank you very much, and a shout out to our Carbondale cohorts. And I guess Miss Diane is down in Arizona. And for all of you other beautiful beings, Valentines, thank you for participating. And I want to tell you how much I'm really loving your donations. So thank you. I appreciate it immensely. Love is the key, my friends. Love creates a universe of peace, prosperity, joy, and no efforts and no issues. All right, loves, thank you very much.